Hey, it's Kim. Thanks for clicking on today's video where I'm going to be setting up for January 2025. I know we can't believe it. I know none of us can really believe it. So I won't even remark on how much I can't believe it. So I'm setting up for January 2025 and it's exciting, not just because it's a new year, but because this is a brand new planner. So I do have a video showing my general setup of my 2025 common planner. This is the N1 size, which is standard traveler's notebook size, and this is the vertical version, and I have the full year, so all of the 365 plus notes pages in the back. Since that video, I've done some thinking about how I'll be using the system, or how I'll be using my planner, how I'll be setting up all of the spreads. I have some thoughts, I have some ideas, I have some thoughts. I am going to use the Sterling Ink subscription kit, the January one, which is what I'm holding right now, to set up for the month. And this is what it looks like. So these are the two vellum sheets that come in the kit. And it's kind of looking like a studio, so like an artist studio on all of the images. Very pretty, very beautiful. I did have a chance to go through all of the inserts so far, or I'm sorry, all of the components of the Sterling Ink subscription kit for January. So I did take it out and look through everything. This is the vellum calendar, the B6 size vellum calendar, which I usually will pop into my planner on the dashboard section in my pages. I will need to trim this down. I don't have my paper trimmer out, and in the interest of laziness, because I don't feel like getting up to get it, I will likely use my scissors to cut that down so that it can fit inside the pages. I'll do that when the time comes, of course. And then here are the other pages that came or come in the sub kit. So I've got the vinyl sticker, and I think I have two. So those two. This one's like a scene of the artist studio along with some florals, and this one's just like some florals. My friend Joyce said that there was like something extra added in this kit, but I honestly don't know. Here are the January, I don't pay that much attention, but here are the January tabs, and something different that I am noticing. So it looks like the little like floral addition to the tabs is different on both sets. So usually in past kits, it would be the same and they would be the smaller florals, but now it looks like they are much bigger. So that's cool if you like your tabs to be just a bit more detailed. So that's those, and then you get the mini calendar for January along with the January business card from Sterling Ink. And here's that little freebie. You also get this in January orders from Sterling Ink, and the month header and block print. Here's some floral elements, some scene stickers, more scene stickers, corners and edges. Those are nice. A few more stickers. I think this might be the one that Joyce was talking about. I don't know, but I guess I would consider these scene stickers as well, just to have a different shape, not just like the rectangular shape. And then the washi, oh no, that's not it. So this is the like a larger scene sticker, some larger elements, and then you get two of these washi pages. So a longer washi strip, some half washi strips, and some floral elements in the middle. We get two of those, and then you get the date sampler sticker sheet. So I've used these and they come in handy if I need to redate anything, or when I did my weekly layout, when I was changing up all the weekly layouts, I used those stickers to redate the weeklies as well, and those definitely came in handy. So that's everything that came in the January kit, and that's what I'll be using today, along with some washi tapes. And behold, I have already pulled out a few that I feel like will work well with the colors that we have going on in the kit for this month. I have not pulled out anything else. So I haven't pulled out any Tombow markers or anything yet. So we will start first things first. And this is when I will usually set up my swatch page for the month. So I put this here. It's a brand new book. So this side, it's hard to stay open. I'll just move these little sticky notes. Even though I know what I'm using each of these spreads for, I'll just move my little sticky note reminder to the side. So for this first one, I'm going to pick a sticker in the kit that kind of encompasses a lot of the colors. And I usually will first go to this freebie page that you get in the order and use that, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this larger sticker here. I like to do that also because these are usually duplicated someplace else in the subscription kit, so I won't feel like I'm wasting a sticker on this page. And it doesn't matter what it overlaps, if it overlaps. I don't use the spread for anything else. All right, so that's that. And then I like to pull out my Tombows next. So I'm going to look over at the swatch page that I put together. This is quite literally my pride and joy. I just like looking at this. I like the way it looks. So I'm gonna pull out a few colors that I feel will coordinate well with the kit. And I'm also looking at this to see what I can see. I feel like the darker colors are speaking to me a little bit more. Like I don't know if it's dark gray or dark blue. So that's what I'm liking. I do like that beige kind of color, and I would use Tombow 992 for that. I know that. I think I might do Tombow 249, that's Hunter Green, to bring in some of that dark green. Let's do 569 for the dark blue. That's that one. And I think that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it at the moment. I like this purple stamp as well. I think that would go nicely with the kit because there is a little bit of that deeper purple here in the flowers. So maybe I'll use that for stamping in the weeklies. That's this one. Shachihara, and the color is Iris Purple. And I do think I'm going to use gray. I think this one's called Silver Gray, also a Shachihara ink pad. And I think I'm going to leave it there for the moment. All right, so let's start putting these down on my swatch page. So I only have these 3 Tombows. Again, that's $9.92. Tombow 249. And Tombow 569. I feel like I should have more. That seems a little sad, but whatever. I do wish I mean, I do have a dark purple, but it is not quite right. I need like a medium purple. Should I put the dark purple there? Yeah, why not? That is Tombow 679. So I'll add that here as well. And then I'll put down my washi tapes. I've had questions about my washi tapes, and the unfortunate thing is that I don't really entirely remember where I got all of them. I feel like a lot of them are the same brand, in that if you try to get washi tapes from like stationery companies, especially ones that specialize in like Japanese stationery, you can find them. But like what the names are, I have no idea. I have no idea. I know that I've purchased some from Desk Gems. I purchased some from Tokubetsu Memory. I believe that's the name of the shop. Maybe Pinky Elephant. I purchased some on, and this was back in the day, I think like before there were so many stationery shops to choose from online. I purchased some from Etsy as well. So just a smattering of different shops and I'm not sure I would know where I can find my invoices to all those things. So I really hope that no one asks. So those are the tombos and tapes that I'll be using for this setup. This is $249, $569, $679. So I will reference this when I need to throughout the month, like if I'm, I don't know, setting up a weekly spread. But I think in this video, I'm going to set up all of my weekly spreads because why not? We're here. Let's just do it all together. We got the time. With that said, this might be a longer video, but I don't mind a longer video. I hope you don't mind a longer video. So next we're going to do my monthly spread. Oh, another thing I need to do, just in general for this new planner, is set up some new tabs. So the ones that I have, for instance, in here that say like monthly, weekly, tracker, where like all the words are worn off, my one line, order tab. I need to set up some new tabs. So should we do that together? Maybe we will. The only hesitation I'm thinking or feeling is the fact that I use these from Post-it, I believe. And this is a set that comes with silver, gold, and clear. I think I might have these linked on my Amazon storefront. But I, as you can see, only have one left in the clear, and that's the one that I like to use for my tabs. So what I did do is I have the, oh good, they're out. I have the 2-inch wide clear tabs, and the last time I set up tabs, all I did was cut them in half. So I sliced it down the middle and then rounded the corner so that it pretty much looked like this 1-inch tab. So that's what I will likely do again, but we'll get to that. Starting with the monthly layout, I do feel like I want to stamp more in my planner. I am not maybe prepared to stamp right this moment. I kind of am, kind of not. Like I know what I'm likely going to use to stamp on my weeklies, but I'm not sure what I might want to stamp on my monthlies yet, because I like to keep them fairly low key, fairly turned down the volume until, you know, the month goes on and I see what I could add to different parts or different pieces of the layout. So for this, I'm going to use this washi at the bottom. Again, going for more of a like a toned down kind of vibe. And yes, I'm going to peel this along the bottom and then layer that washi sticker right over it. And I guess I'm going almost all the way across. Same with this washi sticker. Normally I would cut it in the middle. Not gonna lie, I don't really feel like it. So this one looks like it goes straight up and down. I think that was in one of the ones last year as well. Do I want to put this on the side? I'll put it on the side. I don't ever use this side for anything else. I kind of just park my little page flags over here. My page flags of like reminders that I need to schedule for the month. I'll do that. I'll put those along here. So I don't write anything there. So it's actually a decent spot. And of course, because these are Sterling Ink stickers, Sterling Ink planner, it fits in that column perfectly. And now, since I do want some of this color on the layout, I will use one of these stickers, hopefully one of these vinyl ones, because I find that I don't really use these in my pages. They're kind of too big, but this one will work right here. It covers up a little bit of the 25th and the 26th, but still I have enough space to write whatever I might need to write in there. There's also the option of this one, which actually might look slightly better. It covers up less. Even though I would normally choose the one with less deco, I think I'm leaning toward this one with more. But before I stick that down, what am I gonna do with this month title? I'll put that there, and if I don't, so I can use the sticker with less, put that there. If I use this sticker with more, I think I like this with that, with no other washi underneath that. So that's what I'll do. And I need to check my little note. I have a note to myself in my current 2024 planner of dates and things that are coming up for January 2025. I need to check that and see what's going on for the month. And I'll just float this right there. That works for me. Okay, so I do have a couple of things that only like a couple to note for January. So looking back at my swatch page, what color do I want to use? I don't want to use that green. $9.92 almost feels a little boring. I think I'll use $6.79. So even though it's dark, I'll just do a little dot to signify what I need to write down something on, like what day I need to write down an appointment or whatever on. Oh, so I do have something from the 14th through the 20th. And I think I'll denote it like this. So it's all the way to this Monday. All right. So that's that. And then I will, like I said, use my sticky notes or my little page flags to remind myself of things that I need to either schedule or just do when the month gets here. So these are a few that I've already utilized for December, and I'll just transfer them over to my January spread. No specific like place, so I'm just putting them here. Like I said, normally they would live over in this area, and they still could. I'm just trying not to overwhelm the spread, but I think they look a little bit better down here. All right, and we do still have New Year's Day, which is the 1st. Do I want to note that as like a holiday? Not really. There's another holiday in January, President's Day. Is it right? There's a holiday in January, a holiday in February. No, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Yes, President's Day is in February. All right, so is that the 20th? Clearly, I need to consult a calendar. So when, actually, let me just Google it now. So yes, I was right. It is the 20th. That's MLK Jr. Day. And I will note that. Likely there won't be any school. So I think I'll use this little flower. And then do I want to put anything here? Oh, also, speaking of school, when else is there no school? No school on the 1st. All right. So my kids have to go back to school on the 2nd. All right, so that is my January layout. And usually I like to pull out a marker, not a marker, a fountain pen to use, but I'm still in love with using my Pilot Vanishing Point in the matte black. So I'm thinking I might stick with this, but we'll see. Also loving just using black ink. Maybe I'll just stick with black ink as well. Maybe in a different pen. We'll switch it up that way. But anyway, this is my monthly layout for January, and we'll call that one done. And then let's get into, not quite the weeklies yet. I think I want to do the tracker and then the weeklies. So my trackers are all set up in the back of my planner. And this one is definitely very easy, very straightforward. I use one of the half washi strips at the bottom of the page as like the deco. I think I want to use this one here and then put January up there. And pretty much that's it, because I've already stuck down the number lines that I use. And these are the horizontal number lines. I did get those from Sterling Ink as well. So I stuck those down for the entire year. So January through December, I have all of those set up in these pages that will be the section for all of my trackers. So we put this. And now I guess I have to do some counting for my grid spaces so I can draw in the charts for those. This micron in the O2 size to just draw in my lines. Again, like I said, I have to count. I have to count so I can know where everything goes. Because I use the top half for the categories that I'm tracking, and then there's a section at the bottom half that I use for health stuff. So I just kind of need to reference my older trackers to figure out where to put this new information. And I will work from the bottom up. So I do continue to track my mood, just a general mood. I can't be too specific in all the feelings and all the moods. It's really just happy face, indifferent face, sad face. So those are the tracking levels. That's all I'm doing. And then right above that, I'm tracking my sleep hours, still on this format, even though if you've seen previous videos, I do sometimes track, or not sometimes, I have been recently tracking on my weekly spread as well as my health planner. I cannot track in 15 different places. So something has to give. I will be giving up on some of those trackers somewhere. So like 2 lines above that is where I would usually put this next line. I feel like the spacing looks a little bit smaller, but maybe that's just me. All right, so that's that. And then I'll just go in and put the day of the week up above here. Checking against my calendar, making sure that I put those days in correctly, and I did. So my tracker is ready. I'll put in my smiley faces. And I won't put in the specific items that I'm tracking until the month begins, but I've been tracking the same things repeatedly. All right, so next we're gonna move into the weeklies. So like I said, I've been wanting to stamp more lately, so I think I'm going to be stamping a lot of the sections on my weekly pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 weeklies I would consider to be part of January. So this first week, only 2 days are part of December. And then for this last week, only 2 days are part of February. So all of these weekly spreads are considered, to me, January. And I'm going to stick with the same spread that I've been using for the past, like month and a half or so, where I have the vertical boxes for the days, split top and bottom, have my task list over here, and then sleep over here. So that does require me to white out some things and redate some things. So that's what I'm going to do for all these weeks, because that's what we're here for. And this is where I'll be using my stamps to redate the dates. All right, so I've put correction tape over all of those dates up at the top, and you may have noticed that I did not put correction tape on the little mini calendars that are at the top of the weekly, and that's because that's where I have been putting my task list. And I don't always like to use use my pointy fountain pens to write over correction tape. So I'm just gonna leave it like that and not write over it. So next I'm gonna put in the lines to divide up all the days, and I like to use this uni pen in dark gray and the 01 size. And I'm not counting again. I really hope that all of the spacing, the column spacing, is the same from last year's planner. If not, I will soon find out that it's not. I think I've made it so that most of the columns are 9 grid spaces wide. These first ones might be like 10 grid spaces wide. And then around the 4 p.m. mark is where I'm putting this middle line. And I need to put something underneath here. Can't really find anything that's in my line of sight. So maybe I'll take this out. Okay, that works. So I'll put that right under there to help make this left side flat. And back to what I was saying. So at the 4 o'clock mark is where I put the line, the horizontal line, to separate the top columns from the bottom. So I'm gonna do that for all the weeks. I'm often glad to just set up all the weeks, all the weekly spreads early, so that I can just get right into my planner and use it when that week comes. But then there are times, of course, where I wish that I had a weekly spread to set up when I have like some downtime and I just want to kind of play in my planner. So it goes both ways, hand in hand. But of course, if there are times when my weekly is already set up and I want to sit down and like play in my planner, I have a number of other planners and journals I can do that in. So that's all of the weeklies. Now I'm going to go in and stamp some things. I'm going to stamp some things. So I pulled out some stamps to use for the dates and like the month header. And I guess I know that for the days, I'm likely going to stamp the day of the week as well as the date. And in some cases, they're going to kind of overlap. So I need to stamp them in a way that is going to be clear. But honestly, if they overlap, they overlap. Whatever. All right. So pulling out my little pouch, I do have some, like a stamp pad in here. I have a video about what I keep in my journaling pouch. But I'll start with the days of the week. And I'm going to be doing this for all the weeks. So I imagine it'll be in like, so we'll just do them like, I don't know, factory line style. So I'll stamp out all the Mondays, then all the Tuesdays, then all the Wednesdays, so forth and so on. I'll use a smaller block for that. And then I'll come back and stamp the numbers. So I think I will stamp the days all in the same color and then change out the color of the dates. So I'll use this, the gray that I mentioned earlier. So this one is silver gray. I think that's the color name. And I thought it would be a lighter gray. It's this one here. I thought it would be a little bit of a lighter gray, but it's fine. Maybe also because it's not new. I mean, because it is a new ink pad. Or maybe not. It would probably, maybe be wise for me to put blotting paper in between the days. And speaking of blotting paper, this one that I've been using in my planner, I've been using it for years, literal years. I figured it's probably time to pull out a new one. Oh, well, that one's done. So let's do that one. So a little behind the scenes action has taken place. I went ahead and I stamped all the days onto all of the weeklies. And then, oh, it looks like my microphone is about to die. So I stamped the days onto all of the weeklies and also the tassels. And the days came from this set called This Week from the Paper Person shop. So these smaller day headers. And then I stamped out task lists and quick notes. So this is where my task list will go, obviously. And this is where my next week notes are gonna go. And this is from the Brain Dump stamp set by Everyday Explorers Co. So that's where I got those stamps from. So now I'm going to put down a few decorative stickers on the spread and then decide what color I'm going to stamp the actual dates in. And we're gonna circle back. My microphone is about to die, so I'm gonna charge that really fast. I'll be right back. Through the magic of television, I have already stamped out the numbers and added some deco to all of the pages. I didn't want to have you sit with me through all of that because I feel like this took forever. I know I was just singing the praises of setting up all the weeklies ahead of time, but stamping out all of these individual dates was annoying, not gonna lie. But I do know that future Kim will be very grateful that I did it. And I've noticed that, so like when I first started and I stamped out the numbers here, I was like, yikes. I don't know if I like how large the numbers are. However, when it's a week where the ink that I use is lighter, I don't mind it so much. I also would like to point out that the inks that I'm using, most of these that I use are the Shachihara inks, and they do ghost. The Versamagic Dewdrop inks do not ghost as much. So if you hate ghosting, keep that in mind. So for instance, this first week I used the Iris Purple and the Shachihara stamping inks, and you can clearly see that over on the back side of here. I think, like I said, that was the darkest color I used. Then this next week was Malted Mauve in the Versamagic Dewdrops, and you can't really see too much of the ghosting there. This third one is, what was this? It was not Sage. It was Niagara Mist and the Versamagic. And then this one is Fallen Leaf and the Shachihara inks. And then the last one I use is Wheat in the Versamagic. So I added the deco, stamped out all of the date numbers, and I hesitated a little bit to put my sleep tracker stuff here just in case I changed my mind, because like I said, I would like to keep that more detailed tracking info inside of my health and fitness planner. I don't know if I necessarily need it here. I mean, I liked having that really pretty bar graph, but other than that, I don't really need it inside of my daily planner in this way, especially considering I do have it on my tracker pages. I do have at least the hourly information on my tracker. Will I keep it there? I still don't know about that. So I've left this a little open. Not a little open, a lot open. And I've been going back and forth about whether or not I want to put in my little lines where I write down my workouts for the day and the dinners that we have. The only reason why I was reluctant, honestly, is because I feel like because of the darker numbers, it just feels like there's a lot going on the page. Maybe I don't like that. I don't know. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Because I feel like, am I really gonna change? Not likely. And it's interesting that the spacing is a little bit different. So down here, I can put that bar closer to the top by kind of squeezing it in between. Is that gonna bug me? We'll find out. I was gonna say maybe I'll talk about it in my flip video. I don't know if I'll be doing monthly flips this year. I did them all of 2024. showing you like what all of the pages and the spreads look like at the end of the year, or at the end of the month. I don't know if I want to do that. And there's no no reason in particular, honestly. So I'll have to think about it. So yeah, as I'm putting in these spaces to capture the information for my workouts and my dinners, yes, it feels like too much. It feels like this is like too much going on the spread, on the page. But I just kind of have to be uncomfortable for a little bit. Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe it won't. But I'm still going to use the spread, right? I'm still going to use it. But we'll see if it bothers me as much as it's bothering me now. When I'm actually using it, will I feel the same way? Probably not. I think it's just the dark color that is throwing me for a loop a little bit. And I don't know if you noticed, it's quite gloomy and dark here. I feel like I'm losing daylight. It's still morning, but it's so dark. And that's bugging me. I don't have on any filming lights. I hardly ever do, because that would definitely deter me from sitting down and filming. So that's the first weekly spread. And then I think I'm going to leave it here for now for the rest of the weeklies. I don't want to put in the spaces where I track the meals and the workouts. And like I said, I'm not going to do the sleep just yet, just in case I figure something else out for what I'm going to use that space for. But the bottom right will likely be things for next week. The stamp I use says quick notes, so I can switch that up to just notes in general. And not anything that pertains to the following week. But overall, I'm generally happy with how the setup has gone. Oh, for the numbers, I use the bread and butter stamp set from Carrie Bradford Studio. And I feel like these are a little bigger than I wanted. However, of all of the stamps that I have, I feel like my numbers are either too big or too small. Not like a perfect size for the weeklies. So I'm not gonna buy any new planner stamp sets. I mean, I say that, hopefully I stick to it, but those are the numbers that I used. And I think we're good. Oh, I did have the idea to stamp January up at the top. It's quite redundant, right? Like, we know, if I flip to this, I know that it's January. But will I like the look of having January stamped up at the top? Large part of me is like, why not? Let's do it. So yeah, I did just complain about having too much on the spread, and now I'm adding more. So whatever. It's the new year. Let's celebrate. So for each week, I'm just going to pull out the color that I use for the numbers and stamp the title of the month. And my stamping skills are abysmal. Like, sometimes I stamp quite crooked. Like, that's way too close to the 30. We're going to go with it. Just keep it moving. I'll learn for the next spread, hopefully. I'll put this in between just in case. The next one was that mauve color. And move it up some. I'm on an angle, so it's kind of hard for me to see exactly where I'm placing everything. At least that stayed on the page. Okay. Yeah, I don't entirely love stamping the title January. Also, I think I might like it over here too. But then would that infringe? Yeah, I would have liked it over there. I don't know, let's see. Would that infringe on whatever deco I'm putting on the other side? Let's try on this spread to put it over on the top right. And then what do I have? 2 more. This one is Fallen Leaf. Oh, and this is the set. This is from Everyday Explorers, and it's called Month by Month Stamp Set. So that's what this one is. And then last but not least, this one is in that wheat color, which is very, very light. I think you can see it on camera. Not a dark color at all. So I do wonder how well you'll even be able to see. January. We will soon find out. It's still pretty faint. Alright, so that's where I'm going to leave all of the weekly layouts that I set up for January. And now I'll move into my dashboard. So we're nearing the end of this setup, and I'm saying this more for myself than I am for you because it feels like I've been sitting here for a very, very, very long time. So right after the trackers is where I have my order tracker for like the first quarter of 2025. So immediately after that, I'm just going to start in with the January dashboard. And here is where I'll be putting the calendar that I have for the month, that vellum calendar that comes in the set. On the right hand side is going to be my 1 line a day. Left hand side is going to be those dashboard categories, like what am I reading, learning, watching, focusing on, what projects I'm doing, all of those questions or highlights that I like to hash out at the start of the month. So I'm just gonna freehand this, and you know, I'm laughing because it may end up terrible. It may end up not so terrible. It definitely will not end up straight. All right, so that's gonna go there, and then I'll trim off a little bit over here on the right. I already forgot how much I'm supposed to be trimming off. I'm on page 16, guys. Don't let me forget that. All right, that's not so bad. And I'll just round the corners to just match the rest of the planner pages. And before I get this in, I'll put down what I need to have on these sides. Oh, my vertical stamps, here they are, vertical stickers that I'm using for the 1 line a day. I got these from Sterling Ink. I mentioned that I believe they are smaller. The font is smaller than they were in the past. I think I'm right. I have not looked into whether or not they really are. That kind of bugs me if they are smaller. Like, they were already small. Why? We don't need them to be smaller. I don't know. How do I normally do this? Do I do this? I think I do it 2 lines in, or like to the second grid space in. There we go, 1 to 31, and right to the right of that, I like to just add a line down the side, just to give it a bit more dimension on the page, not for any other reason. And what title or marker am I going to use for the title? I think I'm going to go with the blue, the dark blue, the 569, Tombow 569. And then over on the right is usually where I might write in January. I mean, it's not entirely necessary, right? Because this is going to go here. But also this is where I would usually put that other washi strip. So I think I'll do that. And I do believe I'm going to layer it over this washi? Maybe not. But will I put this someplace else on the page? Like what if I put this here? This here? Nope, I feel like I need more. Yeah, I feel like, am I gonna need more there? I don't know. I'm talking this through while I have you here. Let's just start building and then I'll decide what to add or what to include where. And I'm tipping this in with just some plain, basic, transparent tape. Nothing special. Sure, Scotch tape will do exactly this. Actually, I have been told that Scotch tape will do exactly this. As in, not stick too firmly to the pages, because I do tend to sometimes, if I'm tipping things in, move the tip-ins around if I need to. And this does not rip the pages when I try to do that. And I'm gonna put the tab, the January tab, if I can find it, up at the top. So I wanna use the one with the, no, I think I wanna use the one with the smaller sticker on it. And since we're starting at the beginning of the year, it doesn't really matter where I place it. I normally will do like 6 across the top, 6 in like the second row when we're starting from July, just to space them out. So that's that. Again, I do want to put something up here. What about maybe one of those border stickers underneath the word January? No, I feel like these are too much. Too much. Oh, there's this one. That was pretty. I think we'll do this one. And then I'll just write January right above that. And I hope that's straight. I call that good. And then my categories for when I do write down what I'm focusing on. And I think I want to kind of leave this a little open-ended at the moment. So that's definitely where I'm going to put my focus for the month. But do I still want to track what I'm watching, reading? I do want to track my project, but I don't think I want to track what I'm reading and watching, because I don't really care to track what I'm watching, and I have a reading journal to track what I'm reading, so I don't need it here. I've not used it here ever since I started doing this dashboard. So let's move on. Let's do project. Yeah. And then what did I say the other thing is? I'm gonna look at my current one. Oh, what I'm learning. I don't want to put that in here yet either. I don't know if I want it there. All right, so that's my dashboard. And then 1 line a day, January 1st is gonna start right here. All right, so I think that's been a pretty lengthy setup for January. And we started this video, my desk was a mess. We're ending this video and my desk is even more of a mess, but that's okay. That's the fun. That's the fun of it all. And when January comes, I will of course put this into some kind of leather cover, because that's just how I live. That's my vibe. That's what I do. Until then though, I will say that the January 2025 setup is ready. Oh, I do still need to make those tabs. I'm kind of ready to not be at my desk anymore. So, you know what? Let me just do them now. We'll do them together. Because if I don't do them now, they won't get done. You know? Can you relate? So I'm using my Dymo Letra tag. This is very, very old. I'm sure there's like an updated version. I don't know. I also do have a different letter or label maker. I think I might have both of these linked in my Amazon storefront if you want to check them out. But they pretty much do the same thing. And I do take the batteries out of this because I find that it drains them even when it's off. The batteries get drained. So this is the part that confuses me. Like, I don't know what size I need to use. I'll test it. So the tabs that I need to use or that I need to make say monthly, and I'm printing this on clear labels in black text. So I'm gonna print monthly and I'll test this size first to see if this is the size that I need. No, this looks way too big. So see, that's way too big for the tabs that I'm trying to make. If I can show you, way too big. So that was on the 4th size. I think I will change the size to small. And let me print a test. That's small. Is that the same? I think that might be the same size as the ones that I made. Actually, it looks a little bit bigger. So maybe I make them an extra small. But I feel like small works. Okay, we're gonna go with the small size. So that's the small size. We'll use that one and get rid of that one. And I'm just going to print out the rest of the tabs that I need. Or labels, I should say, not tabs. Labels for the tabs. All right, so I printed out along with monthly. I have weekly, tracker, today, one line, and orders. So that is how many? That's 6 tabs that I would need to put together. So I'll be using 3 of these. And again, these are the 2-inch wide Post-it clear tabs. They're like the removable tabs. I'm not sure of the exact name, but I'm sure I have them linked in my Amazon store. And what I'm gonna do is, since these are 2 inches wide and I need them to be 1 inch wide, you guessed it, I'm just gonna cut them in half. And because I like a little bit of uniformity, I'm just gonna round the corner where I cut it so that it's not you know, can I even? It doesn't round all that well because it's hard to stick this in there. That one worked better. Let me try this again. And I do find that I have to remake these maybe like once or twice a year. Not too often. But they do get a little bit gunky when I move them around the planner. So they'll pick up lint if I'm not careful and I put them on top of ink. It'll like have ink transfer to them. So that's what I mean by gunky, and that's why I like to do these or kind of refresh them every now and again. Okay, all 6 are done, and I usually will use tweezers to put these on there. So I do trim them down to get as close to the word as possible, just so that it has no trouble fitting onto the little tab. And I swear every time I make these, I put the word on the tab in the incorrect orientation. So today I am hopeful that I put them on correctly. So for instance, this monthly has to hang down this way because I use them as bottom tabs. So I'm going to cut off as much of the bottom part of the label as I can so that when I line them up on here, it fits decently well. All right, all of my tabs are finished. I just placed the little labels onto them, and now I'll put them in place. So for the January monthly, put this right here. And then for the weekly, that first weekly of the month, which is here. Put this right in the middle. And then for my tracker, I can get rid of this. This was just a page flag that I used from something I got from like a old cloth and paper subscription box, I think. And then my one line a day goes right here, usually like on the side down here. And let's take off today and orders. Today goes right behind the dashboard. So that's where I'll start. January 1st, and then orders goes to that order tracker that I have set up, and that one usually goes right here below one line a day, so that when my planner is closed, oh, let me take these other ones off. Well, you know what, I'll just put this somewhere. I'll reuse those someplace else. Oh, I do still have this tabbed for my index because I'm not quite done setting that up. I wanted to put some kind of deco on the spread, so I'll leave that there. And then I do often have this swatch page tabbed. A large part of me, like, it bugs me that it's on the side. So I'm not going to tab this on the side. I'm thinking maybe I'll do up at the top. Yeah, for now I'll do up at the top. And then same thing for these swatch pages. That's what I'll use that other, where did I put it? Next to trackers. This one. I'll put this like right up top there. So that's what I'll use those top tabs for. And is that still bothering me? I have a thing with tabs. I just don't like them to stick out too much. So I'll bring those down a little bit. Yes, it's weird, but whatevs. And I'll probably swap those out for something else. But when I need to get to my swatch page, I'll just go to that tab. When I need to get to the monthly swatches, I'll go to that tab on the quarterly spread. So that is good. I'm going to move this one in a little bit more as well. All right, so now I'm really set up and I'm ready for the year to begin. So my monthly spread is done, and once I figure out what pen and ink I'm using, it'll probably likely be the same pen I have been using with just black ink. But once I decide that with finality, I will come in and put down the appointments and reminders that I need for January. And then after that, we get into, we did the tracker. We put the tracker together. And again, when the month starts, that's when I'll go down and write out the things that I'm tracking for the month. And then backtracking a little bit, we set up the weeklies all in this vertical weekly layout, kind of like a vertical stacked layout, if you will. Set up all of the weeks, the 5 weeks of January. I did not include my sleep tracker in the top right because I'm not sure if I'll be tracking sleep. But I have all of the basic layouts done for the weeklies, and I'm ready to start as soon as the month begins. And then what we also did together is set up the dashboard for January. And I have a spot designated for the focus and also for the projects that I'll be working on for the month. I've opted not to, at this time, add a spot for what I'm reading and watching and learning. I think that might be something that would go into my workbook, as I've been calling it, or like my messy notebook, my brain on paper, that notebook that I'll be using. I do have a video. I'm using the Sterling Ink Daily Planner for that for 2025. So maybe those like reading and watching and learning topics will go there. We'll see. But that's where I will be setting up my dashboard for January. And again, once my pen is inked up and ready to go and we're closer to the start of the month, that's when I'll fill in all of this. On the right hand side, we have that vellum that comes in the Sterling Ink subscription kit. as well as the little tab up top so I can know where January daily pages start. And right after that is my 1 line a day. And then immediately after that is where January 1st will begin. And you saw me set up all of my little tabs that I use to navigate through my planner. Every day I come in and I open my planner and I call it a tour of tabs. I'll go to the monthly, check out what's happening. I'll go to the weekly, check out what's happening for the day. I'll go to the tracker, make sure I updated that from the previous day or days, and then I'll normally come into today. Sometimes I'll go to 1 line a day to make sure I filled it out for the previous day, but usually I just hop right into whatever is for today. And therein, my friends, ends my setup for the first month of 2025. I'm really excited to get into just a new planner, honestly, not necessarily for a new year. I mean, I am excited for a new year, but because, you know, we're planner people, I'm just excited to start a new planner. So thank you so much for following along on today's chatty, lengthy January Plan With Me video. I appreciate you being here. And if you like the video, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, you can ask them down below and I'll get right back to you. Again, thank you so much for following on today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.